right now, though, I'm almost right, and this is where social media is so great, and Dennis Cox that helps us out. Is it really does some work for me because I was locked in on golf today. And I was kind of going like, this is definitely the day where the Canes are going to make all of the news, right? They're going to name a GM. They're going to trade Martin Necas. They're going to maybe trade the rights to Jake Gensel. And there are some rumors that maybe now they're considering working on a long-term deal with Jacob Slavin. I was like, all of that is going to happen. But it seems like, just as we should have come to expect this offseason, I had absolutely nothing to worry about because the Canes move slowly. I mean, Don Waddell, we're looking at almost 3 weeks now since their GM resigned and moved on. He's gotten a new job with Columbus. And a couple days ago, we had a leak from Frank Saravala or I don't know if it's a leak, a report from Frank Saravala that said the Canes have told their external GM candidates that they're going to go internal with the hire. If that's true, once it leaks, just rip the Band-Aid off and name Eric Tulsky your GM. Unless it's not Tulsky. If it's someone else, then name that person the GM. It stinks that the info wasn't released in the way that you hoped. I get it, right? It stinks that for whatever reason you didn't get to surprise everybody with a press conference. But if Frank Saravala is correct about external candidates being told that the hire is internal, announce the hire, right? You had the rug pulled out from under you a little bit. That's fine. No one remembers how a hire is made. People remember if it's the right hire. People remember, what they did in their first offseason once hired. People remember their first big move once a GM is hired. That's what people remember. No one remembers the press release. Right, when you get big news, you remember where the big news you were. You don't remember necessarily the big news for your other things, right? Like if it's you get a new job, you remember where you were when you learned that they got a new job. If it's someone else getting a job, you learn the news and then you go, all right, well, are they going to help my team win? That's what's most important. Stop making Eric Tulsky have like preambles to conversations, right? Because I'm operating under the assumption that Eric Tulsky as interim GM is the one that would be handling everything I mentioned. Martin Necas trade talks, Jake Gensel trade rights talks, long-term extensions for Jacob Slavin. Like, I'm under the assumption that all of that is being handled by Eric Tulsky. Stop making him begin the conversation with, just so you know, I know I'm the interim GM, but I have full, complete autonomy to go ahead and sign deals, commit money, make big cap decisions, right? Just name him the GM or whoever, right? Because we're past the point of it being like hunky-dory, right? There's some big trades that are being floated out there. Now, I'm going to take them all with a grain of salt, right? And I'm going to say, just because there's a report out there that a trade offer should happen, could happen, might happen, doesn't mean it is happening. But you get ready. You don't want to have to get ready once those things are put in front of you. It's the old saying, right? Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. I'm not sure the Canes are ready right now for these big decisions. And I think they could have gotten ready by this point in time. Right. And again, like I said, I was hoping, maybe fingers crossed, hoping that I'd be walking around on the golf course today and my phone would start dinging and it meant that a GM was named. But it's not the case. So once again, I'm sitting here saying, and Dennis just joined me back here at the U.S. Open Media media studio. There's some big trades out there that are being floated, and I'm not sure the Canes are ready to accept, decline, counter. I'm not sure they are because they don't have their structure as it will be in place.
I think the structure, at least the plan, is just run things like they've been. I think that's
without one of the pieces.
Not necessarily. I mean, I guess, but here's the thing.
It's like, let's take the carburetor out and then just drive. It's like, we still got the engine, we still got the transmission.
I mean,
we run the car as a unit, and it's like, well, you don't have a carburetor.
Well, I think
it might work for a little bit if you're on a hill going down, but eventually,
yeah. But I think the way the Canes operate, again, we told it's group decisions.
Yep.
And Dundon, he is the driving force. He's the engine. He's the transmission. He is the carburetor. Now, it just
there's something to be said for that. Correct.
And that's the reason why, like Tulsky, and there's some other guys, Darren York, who is assistant general manager as well. Those guys, along with Waddell, were the ones that made all the decisions collectively. There are front office positions, a couple guys that are down with the Florida Panthers right now. Those positions never got filled when those guys left. So really, it's still the process never really has changed. And I think there's no rush. I think Tom didn't realize, like, why rush it? In terms of naming a GM.
Oh, well, here's the thing. Now let's go back to the Frank Saravallo report that external candidates are being told that they're going internal.
Yeah.
I believe all of those signs would then point to Eric Tulsky, the interim GM, being ridded of the interim tag and him just becoming the GM. If that's already being told to candidates, why not tell it to Tulsky?
Yeah, what are we waiting for?
I get the no need to rush, but at a certain point, like there's nothing else to do. Like it's to use a term that some of you may be able to parse out of the words I'm going to choose. Do your business or get off the pot. Like it's you're to the point now where nothing new is going to happen, and the draft is coming at us pretty quickly.
Yeah, the draft is in 2 weeks? It's the 28th or so.
Yeah,
so we're basically about 2 weeks away. I mean, their scouting department, they've worked all season on that. I think that's pretty much a cut and dry thing for the most part in terms of who they're going to draft. I think that's again like a collective decision from the scouting departments and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think it begs the question is why are we waiting so long? I'm wondering if Dundon and the Canes are waiting to fill maybe an assistant GM spot or who the consultant is going to be. I think they want to make sure they get that solidified before they make announcements so they can make it all at once. Like, hey, Tulsky, general manager, Justin Williams, consultant, this person now in this spot. I'm wondering if we're waiting to make, all right, let's make sure we have everything in place and we'll announce it all at one time. That might be what they're waiting for.
That would be an interesting deal if they wanted to do it together, because also that would mean if by accident we're looking for an assistant GM and we stumble upon a GM that we like better than you, we'll just name them the head GM because we haven't quite named you the GM. Like, we want Tulsky and we want someone else.
Yeah.
We don't care which one's the GM, which one's the interim. So maybe that's it. Maybe that could be it.